Hi, it's Rachel. So I want to go on just a little bit more about this soul connection with God. Okay, so it's making this time for Him each day. And again, when you make that time and that commitment, that is showing your desire to abide in His love because you're giving that to Him. You're being honest and real, and you're just pouring out your heart before Him and wanting to know who He truly is and connecting to that spirit, because that spirit and His spirit is what funnels life into you. Okay, and it's so that time spent in giving His voice a space in your life is just so important, and it again is going to become the most impactful, powerful part of your day. But it does take patience and perseverance because it's something new if you haven't done it before, and it's a new rapport that you have to establish with the spirit and learning to communicate. But by just being consistent and doing that each day, you will, because and you will develop that. So just be patient because and persevere in it, because you are doing something new. Okay, but pretty soon it's just going to become a part of your lifestyle, a part of your habit of what you do, and it will make a very strong impact on your life, and that's just putting it lightly. So so I talked about, being in that place of being humble to learn, okay, and wanting to learn from Him and realizing that you may have questions and stuff that He will answer in time. And sometimes we're asking things that just aren't essential for us to know at the moment, because He is going to develop your soul perfectly and establish the truth in you perfectly, and He's going to be working on exactly what you need. So don't get frustrated if your questions aren't being answered, but just continue to just dive into the different areas of your life and the things that you're struggling with, the things that are on your mind, because you're on your mind for a reason, and address those things with Him and talk about them and pray about them and write them out. And in that, you're going to start seeing His counsel and seeing His wisdom and instruction to you. So you're spending this time each day, and that's, to me, that's the fundamentals. Okay, it is having that conversation, that prayer with God, writing those things out. And on top of that, if you want to add other things like reading certain books that are inspiring to you, I would do that. That ones that you're led to, that for whatever reason you can do that. But I would just recommend that you don't let the words of others become a replacement from that personal conversation between the two of you. So suppose you start praying and you don't feel like you have anything to say, so you just go read a book, and you may feel like you get something out of that. There's nothing wrong, right, with reading, but the thing is that this is really about your unique relationship with Him, which is different from anybody else's. And that should be very prized and special to you, that you have a unique connection to Him that He doesn't have with anyone else, because each relationship's different, and it's very special to Him. So He has things that He wants to tell and speak right to your heart, okay, in ways that you can receive, that will change you to where you can move to the next level. And He can certainly use other people's words for that, but there is something very incredibly powerful by being a direct connection. So I wouldn't give up on cultivating that connection, and I would make that the most important part of that time. So maybe it's even saying, okay, I'm going to spend this time regardless, and then the extra time that I have, that's what I'll spend my time reading or doing other things that I want to include as part of this communion time. So, and that's where more of, um, I don't know, kind of that individual nature of what your quiet time, that time looks like, is crafted to you. But just give yourself and give him the space to speak to you so personally, because the reason is ultimately in your life and in your situations you're going to develop, as you spend this time with him each day, each morning, or whenever it best works for you, when you can be still and quiet and have that peace to do that, um, that's going to flow into the rest of your life. So you're going to develop this sense of being connected to his spirit throughout your day, so that you can always receive that instruction and that counsel. Because again, the more you connect with him, the stronger that connection gets. You're just more used to it and understanding it, so it can just basically fill your entire day. But sometimes it has to start by first establishing that connection, and that's why it's so important to give yourself the space and him the space to do that without a third party. Okay, so you can always introduce those other ones later. And this quiet time that you have is essential to really having the right understanding of God and the true image of God. And if you will take the time to do this, you will start growing in the truth, okay, in such a way that that truth becomes such a shield to you and protects you, because you understand the character, the true character of the Heavenly Father, so that anything in your world, anything that you hear, you're going to have a lot of discernment in what is of God and what isn't. If you don't have this time with God and you've only learned or heard about him through other people and resources, then you are basically just taking a best guess at what you think the right reflection of God is. That's why there's so many different reflections, because people have gotten used to trusting other people to tell them who God is and how to relate to him. Okay, so that's why I wanted to keep this very basic and very simple, to show you basically you have a unique relationship, carve out a time with him, try that writing, because I think that's very important in focusing you and all those benefits that I mentioned, and let that relationship develop in a very true and real way. And when you look at every other relationship in our life, that's what you do, is a one-on-one connection where you get to know that person for who they are yourself. If you're always going through a third person, you're never really getting the accurate reflection. It's the same thing with God. So for me, I would suggest that this is the most important thing that you can do. So if you only have so much time in a day, it's probably better to, and it is better, to spend this time developing your personal communication and rapport instead of going through somebody else. Okay, that somebody else seems easier, faster, a shortcut, whatever it may be, but it is no way going to produce the same results. This is, again, your soul is the entry point of God's Spirit into your reality. And so the more that you can develop that yourself and personally, it's the greater impact that his Spirit is going to have in your life. The greater his presence is going to be in your life, because you know it firsthand. Okay, it's personal and it's intimate and it's your connection. So that coming to him and putting that first over others, I think, is very important part to all of this. So I hope that these videos really helped to give you a little bit of foundation and perhaps a starting point about where to go, and realizing that it is through this communication and a connection to His Spirit that everything else comes from. So there is truly nothing else more important.